one chat at a time.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 8 of Keeping the Arts Alive, one chat at a time.
Today we're chatting with keyboardist, musical director and producer AMANE SUGANAMI.
We hope you enjoy, and if you do, please like, comment and share with your friends and family. Hi AMANE, nice to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. A bit cold, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Ready for the sun now, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to get straight in, and we want to take it back a few years. So you studied at the Brit School, and then you went on to do your undergrad at Trinity Laban in jazz piano. So we'd just like to know how you first got into jazz piano.
I was like 15. I remember seeing like the National Youth Jazz Orchestra of Wales, like playing in my hometown, and then sort of I think it was through that I kind of got like really excited about
Into it,
doing jazz, and then sort of tried to get on that and like sort of going through big bands in that area. And
So what happened after you graduated? What was your first job?
so I pretty much just went straight on tour. I think I finished and then I just went straight on the road. It was a pretty intense way to leave college, but yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. And who was that with?
With Georgia, we did I think like a handful of festivals, and then I think we went to America, and then I came back and then went back off again. So it was,
Amazing. It's mental. So we want to go back again. Before we move on to all of that kind of stuff, we want to talk about your EP Tangerine and also Lost Weekend. So very much like an electronic style, different to jazz piano. But when did you realise your passion for this style of music?
I think like I grew up sort of playing in bands and like kind of had an interest in like making sounds beyond just like piano and like electric piano sounds and like organ. And I remember listening to Daft Punk's Discovery when I think I was like 13 or 14, and then it kind of just like it blew my brain. Like I was just like,
Blew my brain. Love that.
and then I think sort of just went down that rabbit hole, and then I think when I started listening to people like Flying Lotus and like sort of that world of electronic music, I kind of realized the correlation between like the things that I was trying to do with jazz and the things I was trying to do with electronic music, and then kind of just went further down the electronic route, because it's pretty far from like, I wouldn't say it's really jazz or anything, but in any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I think that's like my route in, really.
So how do you approach the writing in this type of style?
A lot of the time it will be like making sounds and like patches and like different synth sounds, and then I've noticed that seems to be the thing that inspires creating an idea, finding the thing. I think that's like the main inspiration point, really, for me.
We want to carry on with that because your setup, otherwise known as the spaceship, we can see a tiny fracture of there. You have so much equipment, and we want to know how you evolved your knowledge of the music and of the setup side of things, because it's so, it's incredible the amount of stuff there is.
They all kind of work in the same way. Like that's the thing, is like, I think it's like other instruments, they all kind of have the same functions. But I remember like sort of playing a sound and just being like, this is cool, but like what happens if I turn this, or like what does this do, and then like some of them you kind of have like deeper menus, and you start like understanding that if this one thing is like the same across a lot of keyboards, and then I think you sort of just end up deep diving into that kind of world, really.
Did you learn that then from just experimenting, or were you watching like tutorials? Like, how did you find out about it all?
I think just like mostly my own exploration, like I think, which has kind of been like the best way in. I find it like sometimes it's kind of hard to explain the way I think about the things, but I think like just a lot of trial and error and like years of doing it. But I don't know, like YouTube's like the best source in the world for like finding things out. So I think there are like times where I'm like, I don't really understand what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
This sounds killing. I'm just going to carry on.
Yeah. Love that. Going back to last summer, where you did an incredible short set for Brainchild Festival, which was online. You mentioned on your Instagram that it's all performed on hardware in a single take and with previous programming. Can you just talk us through this a little bit and what that actually means?
Right. So I think I kind of have a thing where I hate using laptops for like live music, because you can kind of, I don't want to say cheat, but you can do a lot of things that sort of by pressing like one button. Like kind of years ago when I started doing electronic music and like performing it live, I quite liked the idea of being like, well, I'm a musician, I play piano, like I should be able to sort of translate that into electronics.
No, that's cool.
And so I kind of set it up in the way that I sort of have a writing process of like the same instruments that I use for writing, and I haven't sort of enough effects pedals that I've collected that like sort of for the effects side of things. And I sort of set a thing of like I didn't really want to press play, as it were, and everything work. It's kind of like and the pre-programming bits were like I would have to like program in the drum beats, and like it was like having to like go in and like work out exactly where I'd placed all the hi-hats and stuff. Because I also didn't want to do the thing of like that you see a lot of people do, where it's like they hit loop and they like play in a drum beat and then they play like a bass line and then it's like and it's like, I don't know, I'm a bit bored of sort of that side of things as well.
Yeah, that I mean, that totally makes sense, really. Like you said, you've trained so long to be this amazing musician. You don't want to just be the person that presses play. It does make sense. So you play with several people. How do these experiences differ? So they're so different, aren't they?
I suppose you kind of practice different things when you're on different gigs. I think that's the thing that I've noticed. I think more like pop orientated like session gigs, it's almost more about your discipline and your ability to recreate the same thing, which is like really hard. Like playing the same part every night for a month is like, it's not easy. But then like something with like my show, it's like about like freedom of expression and like how much can you constantly be generating like ideas, and like I don't know, it's like really different practices, I think.
As you've mentioned that we've just mentioned actually that you're the MD and you play the piano for Georgia Smith, and you started touring with her since you graduated. How have you felt that this role has developed?
I've been with her for nearly 6 years, I think. 5.5 years, I think it's at the moment. And like...
long time.
Yeah, really long time. And I didn't really expect it to sort of do what it was. It wasn't ever like sold to me as like, this is going to blow, you know. I thought... But you kind of, I don't know, you just kind of like fell into place naturally. I don't think there was any like ever like, oh, I'm going to do this with this thing and I'm going to like really set what I didn't go in with any intention of anything, and I think the whole thing's been really natural as it's developed.
Really, really nice. And then just moving on from that again, obviously her new tune, Addicted, you actually co-wrote that as a band. So how did that all come about? Because that must be quite difficult, a room full of people with all different ideas, making one tune.
Fortunately, not one of those things where it's like too many cooks. I think it was like,
that's good.
You know, I'm going to do this thing. Oh, like this really complements what is going on in the bass part, or like, or actually like I think this bass needs something else. And it was like, I don't know, it just felt really organic. And I think like you can probably tell that we've played a lot together for that to come out. Because I think when you got like 5 or 6 people in a room trying to write something, it can be a nightmare.
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's getting that kind of, when everyone's so passionate about their instrument as well and music, it can be hard sometimes to find that group kind of togetherness.
You have performed on many stages: Glastonbury, Coachella, on Jimmy Kimmel, Jules Holland, performed at the Royal Albert Hall, and your list goes on. How have you found like the transition from playing intimate gigs and then playing on some of the world's biggest stages?
The thing that I really feel is like the space between you and the next musician. Like it's massive. Like it really increases massively. It's kind of freaky when you're sort of like you can't really see the people that well. I think like the distance from the audience as well. Like it can feel quite isolating actually. I know it's sort of you wouldn't expect that with like that many people watching, you know, when you're talking like thousands, but like it can feel really isolating because you're
separated
sort of on your own. Yeah. Yeah, it's an odd experience for sure. And I think it kind of looks weird as well, like if you don't spread it, because like the staging and the way like the audience see it, like because of perspective, it'll look really odd if you're like as close as you actually want to be.
Yeah. So from playing around the world, who would you say is a memorable and inspirational person that you've met along the way? Could be anyone.
I don't know. I'm going to upset someone if I don't mention them. I don't know. Yeah, I can't really. I think there's too many to name. Probably
too many to name.
Yeah.
Wise answer. You've still got lots of friends.
Yeah.
So if you had a dream collaboration, and probably another upsetting question, with someone that's alive today that you haven't already collaborated with, who would it be?
I mean, like my heroes are like Herbie Hancock and Ahmad Jamal. So, you know, like it'd be amazing to have to work to some regard with them. I think.
Brilliant. Amazing.
Love that. Great
Good
choices.
Yeah.
So what is next? What upcoming projects do you have?
So we've got some bits with Georgia coming up. I think Glastonbury got announced sort of a few weeks ago. So we're doing like a little live stream for that, or like part of their live stream thing.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And and then some festivals coming up. But you know, it's like
hard,
COVID. So I don't know. I've sort of like not fully expecting everything to happen, although really hoping it does. So.
And what about your own writing? Will we be hearing any more EPs or albums of your own stuff?
Yes, I'm in the process of like finishing off an EP. It's like more or less done. I'm sort of like in the final tweaking stages, and then chatting to some people about releases. So hopefully end of this year or maybe start next year. But...
Very exciting. So just before you go, we have one question that we're asking everyone. And that is, if you were on a desert island and you could only have one album, one film and one dish, what would they be?
Album. Wow. I'll move on to film because that one's a bit easier for me.
Okay.
My Neighbor Totoro, the Studio Ghibli film.
Oh, I've not seen that.
No. Okay, that's gonna have to go on our list. We've
We've
got a whole list of people's films.
Was it one album, a film,
and a dish?
And a dish. Oh.
Another toughie.
I suppose maybe something I'm just really enjoying at the moment. But man, whenever I get asked about these kind of questions, my mind always goes blank.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I don't know any
panicked that someone might say, right, what about you guys? And I'm like, I've done this so many times I don't actually know my answer.
Or we can swap it to the latest album you've been listening to on your phone. If we were going to look at your phone now.
I'm going to have to get my phone out.
Because that's definitely going to be something you're into.
I mean, I might just go classic. I might just go like Pershing Lounge. Yeah, that's like, Ahmad Jamal's Pershing Lounge is
brilliant.
Fab.
Love a bit of Ahmad Jamal. Can't beat it. And finally, your dish.
And my dish. Ooh. Man, these are such hard questions.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
I suppose like, I mean, it's a bit of a weird one, but like, I consistently have like more or less the same breakfast. So I'd probably just stick with that, you know?
Yeah.
To keep some continuity going.
Yeah. Like, maybe like scrambled eggs and some toast, you know?
Oh, nice, yes.
Keeping it simple,
Definitely.
we love it. So thank you so much for speaking to us today. It's been great to chat to you.
And we look forward to hearing some more of your stuff, hopefully at the end of the year.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.